Smoking as a teen can permanently stunt your lungs, taking the air out of even the biggest and baddest.
Accept it, Ethan. You've lost this one. What's done is done.
What's done is done when we say it's done.
Showtime.
Oh my God.
Alright guys, so you guys may not know this, only if, if you're close to me and you're one of my friends, but I actually saw this movie back in May at a test screening. And I know a lot of you guys are not going to believe me. I also went to a test screening for Sicario de Soldado, which I mentioned in my review for that movie. And this was the second test screening I went to, and I know a lot of you guys are not going to believe me, but I did go to this test screening. It was really... I'll explain how the test screening worked in a section in this video. For now, I just want to focus on the review and my actual thoughts on the movie. But I actually, of course, saw it once at the test screening back in May. It was in standard 2D, of course. And then the second time, I saw it in IMAX. And then the third time, I actually won some tickets to autumn tickets. And I decided to take my dad and see it again in IMAX. First time I see a movie more than once in the IMAX format, which I'm just going to get out of the way. It's the way this movie is meant to be seen. It was filmed with IMAX cameras. Two certain scenes in particular. Of course, the scene when the Halo jump scene with Tom Cruise and Henry Cavill, and the helicopter chase scene towards the end of the movie, which both scenes are brilliantly captured in IMAX cameras, and I think IMAX is the way to view this movie. Mission Impossible Fallout is the sixth movie in the Mission Impossible franchise, and I'm going to keep the plot to a minimum in this review just because I do not want to reveal way too much. So Ethan Hunt and the IMF basically team up with this assassin, Henry Cavill's character, to basically look for these missing plutonium pieces, which basically, if these plutonium things go on, of course it's going to set out a nuclear explosion. And well, that's all I'm going to give out about this movie. They're basically just going after those three pieces. And of course there is a little bit more to this story, but I do not want to give anything away. It is impressive to see a franchise like Mission Impossible be on the sixth movie, and maybe up to this point, maybe the movies would feel tiring, but Mission Impossible Fallout, that's not the case. In my opinion, I think that basically with Ghost Protocol, the movie started getting more advanced and, not only their storytelling, but in their actual quality. And I thought that, starting with Ghost Protocol, I think is a really good movie. And I also really liked Rogue Nation. And, but Fallout, those movies look like Disney movies when you compare it to Fallout, because Fallout is flat out outstanding. Definitely one of the best action movies I have seen in like the past 5 years. Christopher McQuarrie is once again directing this movie. He did direct Rogue Nation, and Rogue Nation and Fallout are the only two Mission Impossible movies he did work on. And let me just say, he directed the hell out of this movie. He knew exactly where he was going with this story, and he worked with this script very well. I think that this script is very well written, and he was given a great script, and not only a great script, but a great cast to work with. Of course, we have Tom Cruise, and Tom Cruise recently has been having a fall in his career lately. Of course, the last movie that he was praised in was the last Mission Impossible movie 3 years ago, and then he did have Jack Reacher 2, which in my opinion I actually kind of enjoyed, but a lot of people didn't, and The Mummy, which I thought he was one of the only good things about that movie. But he is again, back again for another Mission Impossible installment. He is striking in this movie. I love Tom Cruise so much. And not only that, but his own stunts that he does. Keep in mind, this guy is 56 years old. And what he was able to do with all the crazy stunts in this movie. I mean, I saw the test screening to this movie, like I told you guys, and of course there were scenes where they did have those strings behind him, like when he was jumping from one building to the other building, or, you know, jumping out of the window. And of course the scene when he was climbing the cliff and all that, he did have strings attached to him. But of course, it was all him, no stunt double. And knowing that a guy like Tom Cruise could do that, it's so awesome. And you know, I could sit here and talk about how great Tom Cruise was in this movie all day. But of course, there is many other people in this movie that I think are worth talking about. Henry Cavill. Was his mustache worth the trouble that Justice League was going through? And I'd say yes, definitely, because not only does he look really good in that mustache, but wow, his character, I would say that he's probably in my top 3 favorite Mission Impossible characters ever. And for a newcomer like Henry Cavill to this franchise to pull a move like that, I thought was pretty impressive. And we do have some returning characters from the previous installments. Of course, Simon Pegg, who once again, he's pretty good, and he does steal the show a lot in this movie. Ving Rhames, I don't know how his last name is pronounced, but he does play Luther, and he is also pretty good in this movie. And of course, we do have Rebecca Ferguson returning, and I thought she was great in this movie. And Sheen Harris, who is back as Solomon Lane, you know, the villain from the previous movie, and they really do kind of use him as a plot device for this movie, and I thought that worked perfectly. And what I appreciate about this movie is that action is just not thrown into this movie. Each and every individual action scene in this movie has a purpose to it. Of course, you know, the Halo jump scene, the bathroom scene, which is always great. It was so good in the trailer, and it's really good here. The motorcycle chase scene, and even my favorite, the helicopter scene, which by the end of the movie, I was gasping for air, and I thought that that scene was breathtaking. And of course, when I saw it in IMAX the second and third time, those were one of the scenes filmed with the IMAX cameras, and wow, it looked stunning in IMAX, of course. The action here is just very well carried and handled. Of course, all this thanks to, of course, the director, Christopher McQuarrie, which I thought that he handled these action scenes very, very good. And let me tell you that runtime, 2 hours and a half, is really lengthy. But the first time I didn't feel it, and the second time I kind of felt it because I was waiting for that helicopter scene, because again, it's my favorite scene in the movie. But then the third time, it went by like nothing. And that's going to be the case for most of you guys who go watch this movie. You guys are going to be so into the story that you're not even going to be caring about how long this movie is, as long as it keeps going. And you know, that runtime is for a reason, and it's very well showcased in this movie. Seeing this movie at the test screening was a really fun time. A lot of these stunts are real. Of course, there are some things that are CGI, like, I did see the test screening, so a lot of the effects were unfinished. The scene when Henry Cavill and Tom Cruise are flipping around in a helicopter, of course, they're not actually flipping on an actual helicopter. It was just them in a fake helicopter with green screen in the background. And when the helicopters were flipping over, when they show you those shots, it was funny. It was just a bunch of unfinished graphics. And I had a really fun time watching this movie at the test screening just because of the effects were unfinished. It was actually pretty funny. But anyways, Mission Impossible Fallout is an outstanding movie. And I wish I could go for that 10 out of 10, but I cannot exactly go there. But I was almost going there. But I just can't for some reason. But it's almost there. It's almost there. And it's one of the best movies of this year for sure. It's definitely going to be making an appearance in my top 10 movies by the end of the year. And with that being said, I do recommend a full price admission for this movie. You guys will not regret this. Of course, in IMAX. And I'm going to give Mission Impossible Fallout an A. Guys, this movie, I cannot wait to get this movie in 4K. It's going to look really great on my 4K TV, that's for sure. And I got AMC A-List. I did cancel Movie Pass, unfortunately, but I will make a separate video about that. But I'm going to go watch this movie a 4th time in 3D with my AMC A-List. So I'll let you guys know how the 3D is in that movie. I heard it was pretty good in 3D. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. If you guys seen this movie, what did you guys think about it? Tell me in the comment section below. excited to hear what you guys thought about it. And as always, thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.